And now that your appetites for horror have been sufficiently piqued by my fellow slime slingers, CK and VK, it's time for me to feed you foul fare. So hop into the haunt of fear fiends, and your hostess in heaves, the old witch, will dish out the delicious delving into the delirious called Mournin Mess. The cemetery lay silent beneath a cold moon that skipped in and out from behind dark clouds that raced along on a brisk November wind. Below, the muffled sound of digging echoed into the night. A man stood knee-deep in an excavation among the flat, plainly marked graves, anxiously sinking his spade into the soft earth and tossing it onto a growing pile beside him. Every so often the man would stop his work, listen, and then, hearing nothing, continue digging.
I thought there was something screwy about this whole setup. Right from the beginning. I felt it. Now I'm gonna find out for sure.
The man furiously spaded the black loam out of the ever-deepening hole, all the while mumbling to himself.
The Grateful Hobos Society. It smelled funny from the start. An experienced reporter learns to sense these things, and I sensed it that first day at the press conference in the mayor's office. I remember how pompous old Mayor Merck stood before us and wheezed out his announcement.
Gentlemen, our fair city has long had the problem of disposing of its derelicts and homeless ones who pass away with no friends or relatives to properly bury them. Heretofore, these wretched unfortunates have been laid to rest by our city in Potter's Fields maintained by your taxes. Now, this sad responsibility has been taken out of your city's hands. Gentlemen, may I present Felix J. Coppard, representative of the Grateful Hobos Society, who will tell you of the wonderful offer his organization has made, the offer I have graciously accepted. Mr. Coppard.
I remember shifty-eyed Mr. Coppard, smiling, soft-spoken. Gentlemen, the Grateful Hobos, Outcasts, and Unwanteds Layaway Society, the Grateful Hobos Society for short, was formed by a group of successful business and professional men who felt that they owed a debt of gratitude to this fair city. All the members of this organization came to this city as down and outers, drifters, derelicts, or just plain bums. But here they found opportunity. Here they found financial success. And so, in gratitude, they have banded together to aid and endow other less fortunate than themselves, other drifters and unwanteds. They have purchased a small parcel of land in one of our city's suburbs, landscaped it, and have turned it into a cemetery. A beautiful cemetery, where the poor outcasts who have not been as fortunate as they may be laid to final rest in dignity when they pass from our mortal world. The Grateful Hobos, who prefer to remain anonymous, have created an endowment fund through mutual contributions with which all funeral and cemetery upkeep expenses will be met. No longer will your taxes be needed for this purpose. No longer will shoddy Potter's Fields mar the beauty of our fair city's surrounding countryside. No longer will... Yes, it smelled funny, all right. I remember listening to Mr. Coppard rave on, expounding upon the wonderful group of philanthropists he represented, and I remembered finally asking, "My question, Mr. Coppard, is why should a group of rich men suddenly become concerned about some derelict's funerals?"
I explain, sir, all of these men...
Yes, they were all once bums themselves. You explained that. But why wait until these derelicts die before helping them? Couldn't the money be put to better use by rehabilitating them while they are alive?
The Grateful Hobos are all self-made men, sir. They received no help when they were down.
The present condition of the derelict in our city does not concern these men. Let the derelict rise up as they have done. But when the derelict can no longer rise up, when he has passed on, then let him be raised in final rest. I still don't get it. I remember attending that first funeral and seeing the Grateful Hobos Society's cemetery for the first time.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Nice place, Sweeney. Yeah, beautiful. It almost pays to die penniless. And I remember in the years that followed, returning from time to time and seeing the rolling lawns with the simple grave markers. How come no grave mounds?
I only work here, mister. The society says this is the modern way a cemetery should look. So I do like they say.
But after a while, the work of the Grateful Hobos Society became stale news, and I turned to other things. Then this morning, my editor called me in.
Sweeney, you covered the opening of the Grateful Hobo Society's cemetery for outcasts and unwanteds, didn't you?
Yeah, Chief, what's up?
Well, according to the obit department, they're burying the 1,000th derelict today. Take a run out and cover it for us, huh? It ought to be worth a paragraph or two.
Sure, Chief. Hey, did you say the 1,000th derelict?
Yeah, why?
But that's impossible. It couldn't be.
Why couldn't it? It's been almost 7 years. This is a big city. We got a lot of bums.
You don't understand, Chief. I'll see you later. So, I drove out here this morning.
Something I can do for you?
I'm Sweeney from the Globe. Come out to cover the funeral today. Oh, I see. Well, the gravediggers are over there now, preparing the grave. I'll just mosey on over and watch if you don't mind. I watched them dig the 6-foot hole.
Okay, that's it.
Just in time, too. Here they come.
I watched the whole ceremony. A few derelict friends of the departed one had come along to pay their last respects to their fellow. Lower the coffin.
He was a swell feller.
After the ceremony, the gravediggers returned and shoveled the dirt back into the hole and mounded it up neatly.
There, that'll do.
Come on.
After the gravediggers left, I stood a while looking out over the rolling lawns with the simple markers and the new fresh grave mound jutting out like a sore thumb. That's strange. Very strange. I started pacing. I paced along the gate on the west side of the cemetery. Then I paced along the gate on the north side. I'm right. I know I'm right. I went back to the car. I started scratching away on my memo pad, figuring. Just what I thought. There isn't enough area in that cemetery for 1,000 graves. There was something fishy about this setup. I knew it. I took a last look at the single mound amidst the greenery. They must be stacking them, one above the other. Unless... And drove to the nearest shopping section. I stopped at a hardware store. I'd like to buy a spade. I drove back to the cemetery and hid my car. I scaled the fence, picked a hiding place, and waited, watching it grow dark. I'll find out. I'll find out what this is all about. And then something happened. Something weird and frightening. The mound, the single grave mound, sunk down into the earth. Sunk down until it was level with the surrounding grass. Good Lord!
The cemetery lay silent beneath a cold moon. The muffled sound of digging echoed into the night. The man mumbled to himself as he dug furiously.
So, I'll find out what this is all about. I'll find out. Why should a grave mound just sink down? Just vanish? Why?
The sound of metal striking metal reverberated in the deep hole the man had dug. He looked around, confused.
Metal? That's funny. The coffin was wood. And hey, I'm a good 6 feet down. I should have hit the coffin long ago. This isn't the coffin.
The man cleared the soil away from the metal floor of the grave.
The coffin is gone. This is a door. A door that opens downward.
The man stood up in the grave. He stared at the old house nearby, beyond the cemetery gates. There were lights on inside it, shining through shaded windows.
Now I get it. Now I get it. The grateful hobos.
Suddenly, the metal floor beneath the man's feet collapsed, and he plummeted downward.
Good evening, Mr. Sweeney. I thought I heard you knocking. Copard! It is too bad that you discovered our little secret, Mr. Sweeney. This is how you can bury 1,000 bodies in a cemetery that couldn't hold 600. Exactly, Mr. Sweeney. And now, if you will, lead the way, minding this gun I have here. I will show you our intricate underground network. But why? Why all this? As a matter of fact, Mr. Sweeney, we got the idea from a comic magazine. Notice that there is a steel trap door beneath each grave location. All this eliminates digging, you see. That's why the mound sunk down. You say you got the idea from a comic magazine? Yes, a horror magazine. Tales from the Crypt, I believe. In it was a story called Midnight Mess. Up those stairs, please. Midnight Mess? What was it about? It was about an organization of vampires who established a restaurant where they could get the blood they needed. Through that door, please. The Grateful Hobos? Vampires? Oh no, Mr. Sweeney. We merely applied the story to our own needs. All we did was buy this house and... in there, please. Good Lord.
There were 20 or 30 of them, sitting about the huge banquet table, patting their mouths with their napkins.
Meet the Grateful Hobos, Outcasts, and Unwanted's Layaway Society, Mr. Sweeney. We are what our initials stand for. GHOULS.
Rah-ree-ree, sis-boom-bean, stick him in the ash can, his bones are picked clean. That's the organization's cheer, creeps. No choking. And now it's time to put out the fire under my cruddy cauldron and close the door to my reeking restaurant for tasty terror tidbits. We'll all see you next in the Vault of Horror. Till then, get your dime's worth. Read this whole rag over again. I dare you.